The Tuesday is here, and this is your Tuesday edition for Things You Might Have Heard. I am Jay Cleveland Payne, going to bring you in moments the best in yesterday's latest information for politics and current events, pop culture, and more. And these are stories that are the best because you told me they were part of the best, if you will. You vote up the stories, you engage in the stories all day long. We post for you on our feeds, and we bring back to you in the next morning the best ones from the best ones. It's pretty simple. We'll explain how simple that is in a bit as we go through deeper into details. We have 8 stories for you, 8 of the top headlines that were vetted by you as good. And if you're watching a video and you see that beautiful face right there next to mine obviously not so beautiful, once again, it's about the clicks, it's about the views, it's about bringing people in because yeah, we're that kind of people. Coming up with Bad Bunny and 7 other stories to highlight your morning here on Things You Might Have Heard. Remember, go to our website. This is theconversationproject.com, our main home for all the stuff. And you can find all the stuff that leaves less time for explanation here, or gives more time for work, less time need for explanation. Today is Tuesday, the 29th of August, 2023. We're almost in the fourth quarter. Third quarter almost done. And we're going to get into the news for this morning right here, right now, to get the stories live and ready for you. Starting off with, of course, Mr. Bunny, Bad himself, to talk about, why are we talking about him? Why is he news? Why is he engaging? Well, he's always engaging, but in this case, he is doing what he does, what the famous people do, showing off himself in the Instagram with what looks like nude selfies and videos seemingly showing that he's hanging out with Kendall Jenner. Now, he's kind of hanging out with Kendall Jenner because it's all the rage in the news, all over the place, as he's got this K necklace showing that he's got that connection and posting nude selfies because he's Bad Bunny. Now, I have a whole lot of Bad Bunny in my atmosphere because oddly enough, I watch a lot of professional wrestling and he's kind of into it. And of course, I understand he is the highest selling artist right now in the world, period. It's one of those things. The Latin music is big and it has great culture and great appeal around the world. And Bad Bunny, one of the greatest artists, one of the largest artists, one of the most popular artists right now, hanging out with Kendall Jenner. Does that mean anything to me? Absolutely nothing at all, but it does to you. The response for this one was outlandishly large, and I'm pretty sure this is the top story, at least 2 days in of the week, or 4 days in, counting the weekend. What's going to be pretty much tops for the week when we get to the end of the week headlines. Now, let's get into more stories that are more into news-like stuff. Starting off with Steve Harvey, which is pretty much not the same. It's also about the clicks. But he addresses the rumors about his divorce with a quote saying, "I don't know what y'all doing, but find something else to do." Bad Steve Harvey impersonation, but you get the point. There's lots of rumor and innuendo going on about Steve and his wife about to be divorced because his wife, has been cheating on him with the gardener and the cook and the driver and her golf caddy and all sorts of things. Now, a lot of this is basically comeuppance on Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey has, he has his reputation, if you will. He's a comedian, which is what he got his start from, but then he turned into the relationship guy, which kind of gets kind of odd when he's the third time married guy doing relationship stuff. But it works, it happens. People fall for it. He got a TV show for it. He got extra stuff on his radio show for it. He did a lot of things with that. And then we're finding out, or we're hearing things, rumor, innuendo, that the third time's not quite the charm. In fact, the fact that he came in as the step parent, kind of to bring a home together, is sort of flowing with the fact that his stepdaughter has all this stuff going on with the drama in her life, and she's basically only famous because she took on the name Harvey after being married. Now, we're not going to go deep into this one because we don't have to. You guys know this. You guys engage in this story. So basically the world knows that Steve Harvey's having issues. And this is the first time we put this up there with about a week or so of different types of stories. And yes, it's not from a legit news source, if you will. It's from a blog called Baller Alert. But it is Steve Harvey addressing the rumors, saying that nothing's wrong, which is basically what we're doing. We're going to leave it up to real journalists, me not included, to kind of figure out what's going on with Steve Harvey or when he's going to announce that things are happening. But just like Bad Bunny, we're here for clicks. People want to know what's going on in Steve Harvey's life, and we don't really know. But we're going to talk about it because it brought people in for today. We know what's going on in Elton John's life. He is in good health after being hospitalized for a fall at home. We know he is done with touring. He's done with the live stage performance, if you will. He may pop up here and there on something that's kind of special, but his big touring days are done. He's also kind of old, and people who are kind of old worry about falls, which happened. He had a slight fall, in good health though, after a fall and being hospitalized for these things. We hear this a lot in the older famous people. I won't so much say celebrities. I mean, we hear about Mitch McConnell. He's not a celebrity, but he's a famous person to us because he's kind of in charge of the government, falling and being gone for weeks at a time from his job, which is kind of important. So these are the kind of things we're looking into. Elton John, a beloved figure of the world, we're looking into his health, and we definitely are glad that he's doing much, much better. Who's not doing much, much better? Well, the Yankees and the Rays. Well, Rays. Well, they're probably doing better now, 2 days later. But a few days ago, they had a little game in St. Petersburg on the home turf of the Rays, and things got kind of bad where there were two bench clearing brawls in the same inning. Yes, that was that bad. It was just one of those things where baseball's sort of heating up as we're getting prepared for the football season, literally in the middle of it, as college football opened up last week and the pros will open up this weekend, I believe, or next weekend, I think. It's all kind of a blur right now, things going on. But right now, we're getting ready for America's real game, which is football, and baseball is starting to get into that groove where they have to compete with the eyeballs on Sundays and Saturdays while they play all games all weeks long. And this is not necessarily a stunt, or it's not a stunt at all. This is just the tempers flaring for these two teams as the Rays and the Yankees got a little heated on a Sunday night and had to kind of go the blows in the game. A judge cites Big, Kanye, Neil Young in tossing Future copyright suit. Now, a man named Daquan Robinson sued Future 2 years ago for what he claimed was a lot of lifted elements from his song When I Think About It. The judge in the case, Martha Pacoid, dismissed the suit, saying the general themes are not protected in copyright. He used themes from various rappers for this rap group, but also mentioned Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young to dispute the Robinson's claim that Future's alleged misuse of the core lyric that he thought was the same as his is essentially boilerplate. As you know, themes are themes, and the reason why you lodge onto various genres is they follow a theme. I mean, various rap artists do rap artists, but they do, the theme is they rap, but they also rap about the culture, rap about the city, rap about their lives, rap about fat gold chains, things like that. When you're talking about life and just saying that life is as it is, the reality is that the life that Biggie Smalls had and the folks in Neil Young had, and just sort of, living the life, being poor, getting through stuff, it's kind of universal. You can't say you took someone's life story from that case when most people's life story tend to go along a fairly similar vein. Here's another dangerous trend that we need to work into, and why the TikTok is dangerous and why it should be banned. At least people say that. There's a challenge, a bomb threat challenge, that tells people, kids, to go to school and tell their parent or tell their teachers, hey, I got a bomb in my backpack. Sounds pretty dumb, because it is dumb. And 4 Kentucky teams are being charged, facing terrorism and harassment charges for doing this thing because it is dumb. Why would they do it? Because they're kids and kids do dumb things. Now, the problem with this is they do dumb things for the attention, for the clicks, if you will, for the views, for the TikTok. And because of that, there's a higher chance of people doing these things to try to get that attention. One of those literally back in my day things where, we did all the dumb things, but there's not any record of it because there weren't cameras around us all the time, so people weren't snapping pictures, and it wasn't the thing to kind of share it. You just sort of did it to get away with it. Now you're not trying to get away with it. You're actually literally trying to cover it so it can be used as fodder for your own notoriety. This next story has a twinge of sadness into it, and it's just one of those things about notoriety. Hannah Montana actor Mitchel Musso arrested on charges of public intoxication and theft. He's 32 years old, and if you see the mugshot, if you go to the link and you see the mugshot, you would not recognize him from his character from Hannah Montana. And essentially, public intoxication, theft under $100, essentially a bag of chips from a hotel room, and just being verbally abusive to people. He was released on Sunday afternoon and posted $1,000 bond, so he's at home resting up, I guess, preparing for the trial. And $1,000 bond doesn't seem like very much, but it was just a pretty small, very small charge, if you will. Now, here's sort of the thing. We're seeing a lot of things about, people who used to be famous coming out and being in situations that are kind of odd. We had the story a few days ago about Ashley Tisdale going to a restaurant and being served by a waitress who was actually starred in the High School Musical movies with her. This is one where Mitchel Musso, who was a pretty decent actor in the Disney scene and probably could have got some roles, some middling roles someplace else, not doing so great right now. We will see how this one plays out because famous people drawing attention. And finally, for this morning, the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, that really loud thing that comes out every single year, and right now on the radio you'll start hearing the very loud dun 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 dun, because they've announced their dates for their yearly winter tour with 104 shows coming somewhere probably near you already. The Ghost of Christmas Eve is the 1999 television film and album that they brought this thing up with, and they're going to go on basically performing that for this year. It's about a young girl who runs away from home on Christmas Eve, and you're going to see this in live spectacle and very, very, very loud violins. How can violins be so loud? Trust me, they do that. Lights and things and blows ups and fluctuating things, stuff like that. The Trans-Siberian Orchestra is coming out to a city near you. Check out your place for tickets, and if you still listen to the radio, I'm sure they got things to give away, so check that out as well. For our apologies, errors, and omissions today, we have a couple things. There were some very gruesome, very tragic, very horrible things that happened in the past couple of days that we did not want to cover. We did cover the shooting in Jacksonville deliberately because that was a big thing with the crime there. We did not cover in today's top 8 stories, the 8 stories we picked, the shooting at UNC Chapel Hill, which left one person dead, a staff member, a teacher, I believe, and the shooter, motive unclear in that. They found him and arrested him after a while with that one, shutting that down. And also a rescue helicopter that crashed into a Florida apartment with some very, very, very graphic pictures out there on the internet. A fire captain and a resident were killed in that. 2 people, 4 other people, I believe, were injured in the incidents, but they were not critically, other than 2 that had passed. That is things we did not have time for in the 8 for today, so we got those in there. Now let's get into what we're going to talk about in the future, starting off with our teaser story. And this is where we explain more about the feeds and how you actually engage in the stories we talk about. Now, they may not seem all that interesting to you, but what we gave to you today were 8 of the top 15 stories of the day. And 2 of those stories we gave you sort of in the side part. We get those stories from you engaging with our news stories every single day, every single day, every single day, every single day. 50 minutes or so on our feeds on Facebook and Twitter, or X, we give you a news headline to engage in on various different sources. USA Today, Fox News, CNN, Baller Report, places like that give you details for things that you may have missed because it's not the breaking news stuff, or you may have seen way too much of because it is the breaking news stuff. We mix it up so you get your mainstream and supplemental news, your offbeat news, if you will, and give you a chance to tell us what stories are worth talking about. Tuesday through Friday, we'll give you 8 headline stories from the top 15 of the stories. And on Monday, we gave you 10 stories from top 30 for the full weekend. It's that simple. We can talk about this one tomorrow if you deem it conversational. You go to our feeds at facebook.com/this is a conversation project and twitter.com or x.com/th_conversation and engage in it. Like it, love it, hate it, share it. U.S. sues SpaceX for allegedly hiring discrimination against refugees and others. I didn't blow that up, so I can't read that as well as I should, but essentially SpaceX, because it belongs to Elon Musk and he's kind of that guy, doing kind of guy things. Essentially, they're saying that they are discriminating against refugees and others in the hiring for SpaceX specifically, not any other company, but SpaceX. Is it true? Is it not true? The court will basically decide this one, and you decide whether we'll talk about this tomorrow. Engage in the story that is out there now, I believe. Things already has been posted. I don't think we pre-post a lot of things. I think this one's already out there as I'm speaking at 6:07 in the morning. By the time you see this in the replay, it's definitely posted. Engage in the story, and you can have us talk about it tomorrow. Now let's talk about sponsors. Let's talk about football again. This is the season of it all, and we wanted you to make sure you don't miss out on a single play, a single uh, great play for this season. Get yourself the YouTube TV. Why? YouTube TV is the greatest way to cut the cord. You're going to get 100 live channels. Number one, that's all sorts of channels, including your local channels. And you can take it anywhere you want to. If you go traveling, you can still see local channels and all your channels where you are. The biggest thing about this is YouTube is beefing up on sports. They're doing some tweaks and some little twinges to make the sports experience greater. You're going to start seeing things like picture-in-picture and multi-screen things. And YouTube TV is the home for NFL Sunday Ticket. If you want to get all the games wherever you are, wherever they are there. Your out of market games are all over the place, except they're not. They're right here in YouTube TV. And we're going to give you an extra $15 off. You're going to get $8 off your first 3 months for just signing up by using our link. We'll give you an extra $15. How about that? Check it out at this. It's a conversationproject.com/YouTube TV. This is a conversationproject.com/YouTube TV. Get yourself in on the know, if you don't know, the best way to cut the cord if you hadn't done that, or find the best streaming service, I believe, is at YouTube TV. I'm a bit biased, but hey, we're going to give you money for doing it. So how about that? Check out our full list of sponsors at our website, but check out YouTube TV for this one. This is an affiliate link, so you have to use it to get it, but it's out there for you. Go get you some YouTube TV. Get you some more Conversation Project by going to our website. This is theconversationproject.com. And what you get from that, you get back catalog of us, of me, either the voice if you don't want to see the face, or the face if you're just getting the voice, or none of that, and just read the articles and read the links that we got going on. We are providing for you every single weekday a opening to news stories. Some of them the big mainstream ones, some of them off the beaten path, to give you things that we like to say are conversational. We call ourselves your news side piece because we give you things that are unconventional mixed in with the main stuff, so it's not your main source. We're not supposed to be Anderson Cooper. We're not supposed to be Steve Doocy. We're supposed to be that weird guy on the internet giving you sort of things out there that isn't quite the, conspiracy stuff, but sometimes gets a little close, because we do get a little close. What we need from you is to tell us what to talk about. Literally, tell us what to talk about. What's that mean? You need to tell us what to talk about. You go to our feeds on Facebook and Twitter, and you engage in the stories, and you rate them up, and the more engagement they get, the higher they go. We get about 30, 35 stories within a span of a day. So to pick the top 15, you have to tell us which stories are on the upper end. Go to your email machine and email us at the conversation inbox at gmail.com, and you can tell us more things about what's going on, how we're doing things well, not so well, and just sort of chit chat back and forth. You can follow us on the feeds. As I said, you can go to the sponsors page and visit our sponsors, and you can go to our partners page and see if there's a way you can partner up directly with us to get more things done. We don't ask that of you as a need. Well, it's a need, but we're not asking you that up front. We're asking for more engagement, because if you get the engagement in, we can figure out the rest. But if you want to help us go to that next level, we are not going to turn anything down. There's various ways to connect with us, so see if there's a way that you connect with us there as well. Okay, so I didn't actually promise it today, but it's here anyway. The fun stuff. The fun stuff for today always begins with August 29th birthdays. Always begins with birthdays. Today just happens to be August 29th. So let's get to the birthdays for today. Elliot Gould, famous from many things, including way back when MASH, the actual movie that inspired the TV show. 85 years old on the day. Rebecca De Mornay, out there looking beautiful and looking treacherous. Can you do this thing both times? Well, she's done it in many ways. 64 years old today, out there looking beautiful and being treacherous. Not so looking treacherous. 64 years old for Rebecca De Mornay. And Lea Michele is 37 years old. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. I'm not going to say it, but just because I know what you're thinking means the point has been made. Let's go to our history lesson for today. Starting off in 1889, what happened on the 29th of August? On that day, the Goodyear Tire Company was founded. Goodyear, which was founded as a fluke where someone poured some rubber on a stovetop and it sort of formed into the way, turning into the vulcanization process for tires. All that became a thing for the Goodyear Tire Company, which was founded officially 98. In 1966, the last Beatles concert played in San Francisco, California. The last time the four guys were together as one group. And in 2005, as we're looking at a hurricane that's on its way to Florida right now, Hurricane Idalia, we commemorate Hurricane Katrina devastating much of the United States Gulf Coast from Louisiana to the Florida Panhandle. Katrina was a beast, knocking out power, knocking out damages a lot of places, and of course, eventually rolling into the area of Louisiana and New Orleans and essentially flooding that city as a bowl for days. It killed more than 18,000 people. And I'm sorry, 1,800 people. That was bad, and cost over $125 billion in damage when all was said and done. Many people still are feeling effects of Katrina. I was living in Arkansas when Katrina came through, and we had many people who were escaping Louisiana at the time, who, this time now, 20 years later, are permanent residents of Arkansas, Missouri, Texas, because they escaped where they were and just never went back. This is one of the biggest calamities that we've had in the nation, and one that basically was a televised one because everybody was following it big in the internet, TV news, and the breaking news channels. And the devastation is still being felt in Louisiana, specifically in some of the part of the nation that was damaged there. And right now, hurricane season's underway, and hurricanes are on the way literally right now to Florida at this point. On this August the 29th, we are going to celebrate Chop Suey Day. Chop suey, much like General Tso's chicken, is a Asian dish, Chinese dish, if you will, that isn't exactly, real, authentic. But guess what? The folks eat it up literally all the time. Chop suey was invented in New York City, oddly enough, and it is a mix of stuff. It's vegetables, it's meat, it's eggs, served with rice or noodles. It was just sort of something that was kind of ginned up on this day way back in the day. I don't have the exact date it was. But today was the day that in New York City, chop suey was invented. So go out there and eat some. Now, I will admit, not a fan. But, hey, you do what you do. I do love me some General Tso. That is the case. Finally, one more thing you might not have heard. The average adult will drive out of their way for a good meal. According to a survey conducted by Bush's Baked Beans for some reason, the average American is willing to drive 36 miles out of the way to get some food. Now, this is something that may be in the moment something that's been overdone by pandemic times where you had to kind of go drive to get stuff and you can really go and sit any place. So that's part of what's going on as we've sort of changed our way of eating. But in reality, Americans just, because of where they are and because of things that are specialized, they will do the distance to get the good stuff, get the good meal. It is what it is. You're not bound by just your locality and what you have around you. If there's something out the way that you can get to, people will drive up to 36 miles, go pick up a good meal and bring it home in most cases. Today has been Tuesday, August 29th, 2023. Thank you so much for being a part of our show today. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne, and we give you one of these things every single weekday called Things You Might Have Heard. We give you the news from the previous day or previous weekend to get your day started so you can start off with a nice batch of stuff. Now, we are not supposed to be your long-standing morning Joe sort of topic competition. We are just giving you a couple stories to get your day started so you can get things rolling on and have something to talk about and links to those things as well. If you like what we're doing, let us know because we need to know what we're doing well and what we're not doing as well. Go to our website, thisisaconversationproject.com, and see what we have to give all day, all night, all the time. Then email us at theconversationinbox@gmail.com. From there, you're free to do what you want to do. We'd like you to make sure you're following us on the feed so you're telling us what to talk about. We'd like you to partner up with us because we could use some help going forward. Whatever you're able to give us, we are more than happy to take. We also want to remind you to stay limber, stay hydrated, and stay on task because that's the most important thing. The world needs you in this world, and you need to be here. So do what you can to extend your life, and literally extend your life, make it go a little longer instead of doing things that will basically shorten it. With that, we are done for this morning. Thank you so much for being a part of the family. We're going to wrap things up and ask you to go to the feeds. Check out the stories you have out right now and see what's out there. Go back a couple hours and see if there's something that you missed and engage in it. Tell us what to talk about so we'll be ready for another one of these for Wednesday morning.